Welcome to the last talk in June. June has just kind of cruised on by, and our theme for this month is Mindfulness for Mavericks. And today's title is Mindful Action. So the natural process of creation and transformation involves the treat and move your feet perspective. In other words, we pray and we take action, even when it's uncomfortable. So right now we're walking through an interesting time, and we need to take action to smooth out the energy about this, what we're walking through, like wearing a mask, washing your hands, keeping safe distance. There's a lot of controversy right now about to mask or not to mask, right? Well, I follow the 3 W's. The 3 W's is, number 1 is wash your hands. Number 2 is wear a mask. And number 3 is watch your distance between people. Makes it really easy to keep ourselves safe. So we plant seeds, and we also tend to those seeds. We don't just drop seeds in the ground and hope that everything will be turning into a tomato plant or whatever we've planted without doing a little preliminary work and work afterwards to be sure that those seeds have the right environment to grow in. So we water them, we fertilize them for optimal growth. We're always in a state of action in our lives. The act of breathing. We're always breathing. We're always processing something in our mind. We're always thinking about something. We need to have good sleep. We need to eat good food. Yet we're not always mindfully interacting with our actions. Sometimes we do things by rote and we get the same experiences and we wonder why. This is why being consciously aware and being in consciousness studies is so important. What could our lives look like if we begin being mindful of all of our actions and aligning them with our intentions? Ernest Holmes wrote in Journey into Life, "Work without vision is drudgery, but vision without work is self-deception. The well-balanced person can walk with his head in the clouds and still keep his feet solidly planted on the ground. Faith and work are ineffective when separated." Again, faith and work are ineffective when separated. Dr. Michael Beckwith said, "When you truly have an insight or spiritual awakening, the next step is always action." In the Bible, James 2:26, it is said that faith without works is dead. One could argue that faith without work isn't really faith at all. The two are inseparable, as Holmes' quote reminds us. Prayer's role is in setting our intention and speaking our word. If we don't speak our word, it lays dormant. That's the first action we take, is speaking our word. However, we can sit in a room and affirm the presence of electricity and admire the qualities of light. But until we take action by turning on the light switch, we will continue to sit in the darkness. Gosh, how often have We sat in the darkness of our own making in our lives because we didn't want to take action. You know, I used to not want to take action because I thought that it would be the wrong action. So instead, I did nothing. And I wondered why nothing happened. And I asked my dad, and he said, "Oh, ye of little faith, you've got to start somewhere. So start where you are and do something. Because if it's wrong, it will show you that there's another way." I remember my bass teacher, Randy Rhodes, when he was teaching me how to play the bass. I was 15 and I didn't know music, but he was teaching me theory. And he did it very interestingly. When I asked him the question, I said, "Randy, you're such a great guitarist. How do you know what note to play next?" And he said, "You try everything and the music will tell you. It will either sound good or it won't. And follow music's lead." What a genius. But we need to do the same thing with our spiritual life. We need to follow spiritual guidance. You know, Jesus, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, and Dr. King didn't just pray. They took action both on and in their faith. They were mavericks. In John 14:12, Jesus tells the apostles and us, "These things and greater shall you do." He didn't say, "These things and greater shall you just pray for." We are called to pray and to do something. We need to take action. So mindfulness is a state of being awake, alert, and aware to the present moment. Here, thoughts, words, and actions are intentional. What are you thinking? And are you coming from a place of spiritual energy? Practice being fully present, even with mundane tasks like washing the dishes, folding your laundry. This energy will train us to be present to our connection with the union with the divine at all times. We're never disconnected. We may have our attention elsewhere, but we need to bring our attention back to center. It is through this deep awareness that we access that which is ours to do, and action emerges naturally. That's why one of our spiritual practices is visioning, where we sit quietly and we ask certain questions of the divine. What is the highest idea of what I'm choosing to be, do, and have? And fall silent and listen to what comes forward. Our actions are the embodiment and demonstrations of our faith. Our actions should be informed by our faith. What were you thinking? Again, my mother used to ask me that all the time. What were you thinking? Stop that stinking thinking. Well, here's 10 qualities of maverick leadership. They are true-hearted and authentic, come from love. They believe in their own vision and ideas for the world, and they take action. They challenge the status quo. They have strong convictions, and they are courageous. They listen to their intuition. They use their EQ over their IQ. Their EQ is their emotional intelligence. When you tap into your emotional intelligence and couple it with spiritual energy, you are guided. They make stuff happen. I have an MSU behind my name. I make stuff happen. And they enroll others to join them on their journeys if they choose. And they use their superpowers. Our superpowers in this teaching are prayer, scientific prayer treatment, meditation, our connection to the divine, visioning. And I will add that they wear a mask and wash their hands when it's appropriate. So as a Maverick minister, I took this question to prayer and I pose it to you. What is the metaphysical interpretation of what we're walking through right now, of this coronavirus? And what can we do in this physical experience as spiritual beings to walk through this situation with the ultimate positive experience? And here's what came to me. And I invite you to do your own work around this, but here's what came up for me. Pray knowing oneness with all that is. That was the first thing, is knowing that that power that created everything created this, and there are reasons. Practice social, physical distancing, good hygiene, washing your hands, wearing a mask. This will help to mitigate the transmission of this disease, which allows the abatement of that transmission. That allows and eventually stops that physical progression. But what about the other aspects of this experience? What about the emotional turbulence that we're feeling right now? Because, admit it or not, we are feeling some emotional turbulence. I had to really tap into what I was feeling. And I had some deep depression and grief that people are feeling, because we're experiencing a kind of loss, aren't we? For our community and our friends and our connections in this life. And when we're feeling a loss, we go to anger. We go to resentment. That kind of why me victimization started to take over. And I had to put things in check. I'm frustrated. And that is to be expected while we're walking through this challenge. But ultimately, we get to a place where we resign and accept that if we can somehow hang in there and get through this, there is meaning that will unfold out of this and any challenge or crisis. Again, there is meaning that will unfold out of this and any challenge or crisis. So this means right now, we need to take really good care of ourselves. Getting good sleep. Creating a meditation experience for yourself. Maybe doing some yoga. And turn off the news. As well as, of course, social distancing, good hygiene, washing your hands, wearing a mask. You know the drill. I know it is difficult, but it's what's necessary. We need to self-regulate. Be aware of what you're doing. And if you find that you're overdoing something, keep it in check. Pull it back. Go within. Because if we don't go within, we go without. So don't overdo it and watch yourself. Mindfulness for Mavericks is taking intentional action on that which has been revealed through our spiritual discernment. What is your spiritual discernment? It's what feels right to you. It's beyond politics and beyond anything that might divide us. Bernard Rustin wrote, "The real radical is that person who has a vision of equality and is willing to do those things that will bring reality closer to that vision." Mindful action for Mavericks is also encouraging and inspiring others to do likewise. This and so much more shall you do. And finally, don't judge others. You know, this whole wear a mask or don't wear a mask thing is been spun out in such an interesting way. But that's the question, right? Should I wear a mask or shouldn't I wear a mask? Well, sure, it's a personal choice, but I had to ask myself, when a doctor or a surgeon goes into a surgery theater, why are they wearing a mask? So the mask protects both the doctor and the patient, and it's about protection. Now, we can decide for ourselves what makes the best sense, but if that little membrane between us can assist us with helping this to get better, I'm willing to take that chance. So we pray, we wash our hands, we wear a mask if that's comfortable for you, and if not, you isolate and watch your distance. And then repeat this cycle again and again. Martha Graham wrote, "There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. So there is work to be done. Let's get to it." And so it is. Stay. So I invite you to go into prayer with me if you'd like, just falling silent for just a moment. As we breathe, we connect with that powerful energy of life. I invite you to bring to the forefront of your consciousness what you choose to believe the infinite is for you. You can give it whatever name you'd like, but I think that we can agree that there is a power that is available to all of us. And as we turn our attention to that power, turning away from the challenge, not to deny it, but not to give it any more power, we become unified with the field of all opportunity. And as we do, we know that there is a healing happening right here and right now. We know that whatever is needed to be known through the situation we're walking through is brought to mind, is handled in a spiritual, loving way as we take action to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And we move through this energy greater, with more wisdom, more power, and more understanding for one another. How good it is to know that the healing is always ongoing, no matter what the appearance. Again, invite healing and the revealing of truth into our awareness field and take action. Prayer is taking that action and knowing that healing is happening. So I may not know what you're walking through right now, but I know that the infinite does. And as we introduce healing, I know that connections are being made. Whatever is needed to happen on the front line of this situation, that those energies are being provided for that allow the healing to happen right here and right now. And for that healing, we are grateful. Thank you, divine infinite wisdom, for the healing of all that is. We are so grateful for this time, space, and place, our ability to know that we know, and to hand it over to the spiritual energy. And in return, we are gifted with knowledge, insight, and avenues through which we can express that keep all of us safe, loved, and loving. So I release this word directly into that living, loving law of mind, because I truly believe with all my heart that love, gratefulness, and the power of healing is in the center of all that is. So I let go, and I release this word directly into that living, loving law, knowing it is already done, as we affirm this together by saying, and so it is. Amen.